Vance Joseph can't coach. That's not news to you. It's not news to me. It's not breaking news to anybody. But you know what? Why is it that he continues to get higher? No one's told the NFL hierarchy that this guy just can't coach. He's an X's and O guy. He can teach positions. He has no feel for the game. His players and team are always out of position. The calls are bad. He'll not survive this. This has been an embarrassment, and Sean Payton doesn't like being embarrassed. He doesn't like taking the blame for anybody. Joseph will get skewered for this, at least, and also probably fired. This kind of reminds me of a story. A businessman comes in, he takes over a company, and his predecessor says, when asked for advice, says, write 3 letters. And he says, okay, what do I put on the letters? Well, the first letter, you set it up and it'll open it up and it'll tell you what to do. Then if you still have problems, open the second letter, and if it still persists, open the third letter. So certainly enough, the letters are sitting there in the drawer, and Sean Payton goes back after realizing he's got these letters in the envelope. He goes back, and he'll get there tonight, and he'll look at it, and it'll say, blame anybody that you can that at this point takes the blame away from you. Fire them. Okay, great. That's what he's going to do. He's going to either blame the hell out of Vance Joseph or fire him. So then now he says, look, what do I do with the second letter? He said, well, if the first letter doesn't work after a little while passes, take a look at it. And he says, well, make some changes in your organization. Do that. And on the second letter, it says, do that and make some room for what you might do and explain those changes. And then, and the blame will glance off of you. Okay. So he says, well, if that doesn't work, now what do I do? And the former guy in his position looks at him and says, sit down, write 3 letters. Well, Sean Payton, you're in that position right now. Everybody seems to get hired, especially in the NFL. They don't reach. They reach their Peter principle. Now, a lot of people understand the Peter principle. Some people don't. Here's what the Peter principle actually is. If people continue to get hired until all of a sudden you reach your level of incompetence. All of a sudden you can't do your job. You were fine as a position coach. As a coordinator, no. That's your Peter principle. You were a position coach. Vance Joseph has reached his principle, a lot like Joe Biden. not to get political. This is something in a game like this. They gave up 10 touchdowns, no field goals. They didn't kick a single field goal. The kicker got 10 points. He was 10 for 10 from the extra point. The quarterback, Tua, ended up with a 155.8 rating. That is unbelievably high. Much like it's almost perfect. But in fact, perfect is 158.3, which Mike White, his replacement, that's what Mike White had. So the 2 quarterbacks had almost identical perfect records. That nothing was happening defensively to slow anybody down. The Dolphins were trying to run out the clock, and they couldn't really. They had their backups in. They're trying to run out the clock. They're trying to get out of the game. They even passed up a field goal at the end. The score is 70. If you got 72 is the record for incompetence for points given up. 73 would have been a new record. That was said back in the 60s, 62. And they decided not to kick it. That's tough. The Dolphins passed up an era, a game that for this era could put them in the record books. They passed up on it, all for all the wrong reasons. I'll get to that. Tell me why, by the way, why the hell is Russell Wilson in the game with 5 minutes left, down by 50? You think he's going to spot? You think he's going to push a comeback? They ended up getting a personal foul from a lineman that got to him, sacked him, and landed on top of him. Could have ended his season, certainly could have injured him. What are they doing? Van Joseph has not had success ever, anywhere, as a defensive coordinator, head coach. He must interview well because his record is just horrible. VJ has to go. He has to go. He can't look his locker room in the eye, or anyone else for that matter. That's how bad it is over there. There's just no one wants to even look at him in the eye. I don't want to hear about any short list hiring his assistants, or heaven forbid, they bring someone in. They're going to bring in a Rex Ryan. That would be as bad as it could be. The Dolphins passing up a chance to break an all-time record is even worse than the fact if they would have kicked it. Why? Because the Dolphins, who are the hated enemy for a lot of reasons, took pity on the Broncos. It's a lot to bring back to Denver. The pity of your appointment. The best guy for this job to allow the seamless transition that hire to bring in next week would be Wade Phillips. Yeah, he's coaching on the sideline right now in the XFL. He could come in. I know he'd take this job. Van Joseph already uses his defense, as did Evero. And all the vernacular, all the calls are the same. The calls are all similar. All the things would go on. It would be seamless. They got to fire Van Joseph and hire Wade Phillips. He will take that job. Or, Sean, sit down. Write 3 letters. I'm Gil Whiteley. I'll think to that.